I'm a gamer.
I'm a gamer.
I'm a gamer.
So my first gaming experience was the original gray brick Game Boy, and I had one game to it. It was Super Mario Land. They were both released, I think, like 1989 or something like that. And I found it. It was about 4 or 5, and I was snooping around in a spare bedroom we had, and I found it in the bottom drawer. It was my dad's old Game Boy when he was younger, and for some reason I thought that if he caught me playing it, I'd be in huge trouble just for sneaking around or whatever. And so I'd probably sneak in there for about 5-10 minutes and play the same level over and over again since there wasn't a save feature. And eventually he caught me playing by myself in a corner. And I thought I was going to be grounded, thought I was going to get in huge loads of trouble. And luckily he just gave me his Game Boy, and I played that thing probably more than any other game I've ever played. I've beat it, I think, probably 3 or 4 times just all in one go, and that's probably one of the happiest moments of my gaming experience, was beating that game for the very first time.
This is going to date me just a little bit. My first gaming experience was Metroid on the original NES. I was terrible at it. I was like 5. So this is how gameplay usually went for me. I'd start playing, and then I would get stuck somewhere, and I'd get really upset about it, be like, oh boo-hoo, I don't know what to do, I can't get out of here, oh my gosh. And so my mom would come in, because she's the reason I got hooked on Metroid, and she'd reset it and put in the Justin Bailey code, so I didn't have to actually do any real work. And then she'd go away, and I'd go on my merry little way, make it to the final boss lair, but the Metroids scared me. So I'd get really upset again, oh boo-hoo, they're gonna get me, and they're really scary, and they make sounds, and all that kind of crap. So my mom would come back in, and she'd take over for me, and I'd watch her get all the way to the Mother Brain, and then beat the Mother Brain, and then she'd pause it and hand it back to me, so I could do the final climb up to my ship, and be all happy, because I beat the game. Every time. That's what happened every time. Sorry, Mom.
The first gaming experience that I truly remember is playing Crash 3 and Tomb Raider on the original PlayStation. The original PlayStation was a console that I got when I was young. I must have been about 10 when I got it, maybe a little younger. And I had all these games, but the one that spoke to me the most was Crash 3. I go back and I play it a lot still. It's colourful, it's bright, and there was so much to do. From getting all the crystals and running through the game, beating all the bosses, to collecting all the gems, speedrunning all of the levels to get all the relics, and then the secret levels, and the hidden levels. It's a very, very good game to get started with as well. It's a remarkably good platformer, and I'll be honest, it still holds up for me. It still makes me excited to play it when I turn it on. It definitely makes me think when people say, what's your first memory of gaming? It's always going to be Crash 3. And it just opened the floodgates for me for gaming. And it was good.
So my first gaming experience was definitely on a PC, really. It might have been on an old Sinclair ZX Spectrum. I suspect it was either the original Warcraft game, possibly the second one, or one of the early Age of Empires games. I just sort of loved seeing things on a screen that I could interact with, and it was sort of fascinating to me that this box on top of a desk with sort of this screen on top of it could take me pressing buttons on a keyboard or clicking a mouse, and it could turn that into a thing, and I was just absolutely fascinated by that.
My first gaming experience was coming downstairs at age 6 and finding my uncle hooking up a Sega Genesis to our den TV, and I had the Aladdin game for it, and I'm pretty sure it was all hand-me-downs from my cousins, but I was so freaking excited.
My first ever actual video game experience was with a game called Formula 1 Racing Grand Prix for the PlayStation. Now this game, I haven't played it in years, but as far as I remember, it was a game that decided that when you decided to turn left or right, it put you straight, but when you didn't want to go either those directions, it just put you there. It just drifted you off. So, as you can tell, not exactly the best experience in the world to start me off in games. But fortunately for me, I was about 3 years old when that happened, so it didn't really have that much of an effect on me. Just has a bad memory now.
Oh, actually, my first game might have been a sort of interactive, almost picture book kind of thing called A Fish Who Could Wish, and I really can't remember anything about that other than the title.